Hello everyone, my name is Jake Schafferin, Director of Sales here at DiscoverOrg, and today we'll talk about the do's and don'ts of voicemails. So first and foremost, let's understand what the point of a voicemail is, right? So in today's day and age, there's cold calling, there's cold emailing, there's a social touches, etc. Voicemail is yet another tool or another trick we have at our disposal. Far too often today, it's very, very easy to hide behind a computer screen and actually never pick up the phone, right? That's mistake number one. Cold calling is alive and well. I'm here to tell you that. So what not to do in a voicemail? Let's start there. Pitch. The point of a voicemail isn't necessarily to explain your entire value prop from start to finish. It's not to go into the nitty-gritty, the features and functions and what have you. It's more meant to be, again, a touch point where you are articulating a pain point that you solve, or perhaps you're explaining how you've helped someone similar in their space. We'll go into more of that with the do's. But again, the voicemail shouldn't be, hey, this is Jake with DiscoverOrg, and what we do is map out, and that's too much already, right? So likewise, product puke. Similar to a pitch, though a little bit different. The product puke is when we start going way into the weeds about integrations and when we go into the technicalities behind our product and what have you. They're not necessarily paying attention, the prospect. Likewise, more times than not, what we have to understand as sales professionals and marketing professionals, is that with a voicemail, someone is probably multitasking. They're checking emails, what have you. As soon as you start getting really, really technical, you're going to lose their interest. In that same vein, brevity. 30 seconds. If the voicemail is 30 seconds or more, it's probably too long. Let's think for a second about our buyers today. They're getting emails, they're getting calls, they're getting text messages. Think about yourself for a second. When you get an email that's this long, more times than not, your eyes may roll and say, okay, I'll read that at some point. Exact same sort of notion with a voicemail itself, right? When you start rambling on and on and on and on, you're gonna lose interest really, really quick, okay? Brevity is your best friend. The last thing here, I'm gonna call it vacuum. So one of the common mistakes that I make, one of the common mistakes that we see is you leave one voicemail and then you move on again. Just like an email, or just like a social touch, it's really the conglomeration of all of these things. So don't leave one voicemail, expect to hear a call back, and never call again. Leave 2, leave 3, leave 5. Again, the more that you can make yourself stand out from the crowd, the more that you can stay engaged with your prospect, that you can really stay top of mind, the better you are. And when you actually call, when you have that live connection, or perhaps when you float the email back about their inbox, when they start to make the connection with your name, with your voice, with your company, they will be more inclined to respond overall, okay? So let's talk a little bit about do's. So pain point. Again, this goes back to the don'ts, right? But talk about the problem you solve, because that will immediately captivate an audience. They're gonna be more willing to listen to your voicemail. And again, when you have them on the phone, they'll be more willing to engage with you. So what we do is we bridge the gap between the buyer and the seller, okay? Or perhaps you can talk about a project that's going on. So for DiscoverOrg, that might be, hey John, hey Michelle, we've uncovered an information security project right in your wheelhouse. I wanted to get that in front of you. Now all of a sudden you're speaking your language and you're giving them something relevant, and it's almost like you become this mind reader where you know their world, you understand their world, and you can actually help solve some problem that they in fact have, okay? The second piece here, competitors, right? Somewhat of a no-brainer, but perhaps not. As soon as you start name dropping competitors, you immediately demonstrate, look, I've done my homework, I understand your market, I understand the other key players in this space, and hey, look, we've worked with all of them, or we've worked with some of them, and therefore, we'd be a great fit to help you solve some sort of pain point as well. We'd be a great fit to work with you too, okay? Let's talk a little bit about the phone number in the voicemail. If you're going to leave a phone number, literally stop and envision your prospect writing it down. When you're face to face and you say something like, okay, give me a call, my phone number is 360-718-5555, they cannot go that fast, especially if they're hearing it for the first time. Instead, it should sound something like, give me a call back, my phone number is 360-718-5555. Again, literally envision them writing it down, because in doing so, you'll be speaking at the same speed that they in fact will write it down. Some more do's. Can't emphasize this one enough. Couple with other touches. You should be sending an email. You should be doing social touches. You should be sending more and more voicemails, okay? Within the voicemail itself, another great piece of content, in addition to pain points and competitors and what have you, is actually call out something else you've done, you know? Hey, Susie, I sent you over a LinkedIn connection the other day. Hopeful to have a live conversation, right? This is Jake with DiscoverOrg. Or, you know, hey, Karen, I sent you an email the other day with a full organizational chart of one of your top prospect accounts. Wanted to see if you had a chance to review. I'm not giving a pitch. I'm not going into the weeds about our product or offering, but what I am doing is I'm connecting two dots so they actually understand, oh, okay, yeah, that email, here's a voicemail, now I'm kind of building this story for them. And again, I'm humanizing myself, right? I'm making myself whole and I'm making myself stand out. One last do here is, this might differ from person to person. My personal opinion, leave the company name at the end, right? So I don't necessarily want to open the voicemail with, this is Jake with DiscoverOrg. Oops. I'd rather say, hey John, this is Jake. The reason for my call is to show you this project, or to, hey look, I have a great company I wanted to get you in front of. The point then is, when you're calling your friends or family or loved ones or what have you, you're not necessarily going to introduce yourself each time with, this is who I am, this is my relationship to you, this is why I'm calling. You want to have that level of familiarity where they think that this is a person who knows me, right? They're reaching out for a reason, so therefore I'm more inclined to listen. So what I would then do is, hey John, I found an information security project right in your wheelhouse. I wanted to send it over to you. Give me a call. My number's 360-718-5555. This is Jake with DiscoverOrg. And again, to bring this all together and wrap a nice bow around it, then I'm going to send an email shortly thereafter, if not before, so that way we're clustering our touch points and we're making it impossible to avoid. Okay, so in sum then, the do's and don'ts of leaving voicemails. Don't pitch, right? Likewise, don't product puke. Don't go into the nitty gritty. Keep them short, keep them concise. Don't let them exist within a vacuum, right? Use them with other touch points, cold calling, emailing, social, etc. What do you want to do? Talk about a pain point. Talk about how you solve that pain point. Talk about competitors. If you can demonstrate that you know their space and the pivotal players in their space, more power to you, you're going to gain their interest. Phone number. If you're going to leave it, make sure that it's slow and envision them writing it down, right? Can't underscore this one enough. Couple with other touches. Make sure you're cold calling and emailing and doing the social. Send handwritten notes, etc. The more touches, the better. Lastly, leave the company name at the end. Make it seem as if they know you, you're an old friend calling, they're more inclined to listen start to finish. So that concludes another Whiteboard Wednesday here from DiscoverOrg. And as always, there's a ton of resources on the website, be it webinars, be it white papers, and a lot more Whiteboard Wednesdays to come. And go out there and let's leave some voicemails.